About 45 minutes before the team was scheduled to pull up, I had to separate Aurora and Astro inside the pen. Separating an unhandled mama from her foal is always a delicate situation, but getting them safely positioned before everyone arrived was critical to keeping the entire operation calm and controlled. Unlike last time, as soon as I swung the green gate into place, Aurora knew something was up. Before the vet or farrier even pulled into the driveway, she had an anxiety poop. It just goes to show how insanely smart she is and how strong a horse's memory really is. Once everything was set, Dr. Nick Morrow pulled in. He's a large animal vet and an exotic animal trainer who works with everything from camels and reindeer to wild mustangs. He brings fresh energy, incredible hands-on experience with high adrenaline animals, and a great network of mentors behind him. Every vet who steps up to help wild horses brings something special to the table, and Dr. Nick's unique training background made him the absolute right fit for Aurora's sedation strategy today.
All right, so we're going to use 2 mils of ditomidine and 1 mil of butorphanol. This is kind of a hefty dose, but since this is going IM instead of IV, it can allow us to give higher doses. It'll just take a bit longer to kick in. And since she is so feral, she's never been handled before, we need this first dose to count, because if we have to give repeated doses, she might just continue to blow through all of those. So if I can give her a whopping dose at the beginning, then it'll increase her chance. But this has an opioid and a sedative. And then once we get this into her, then the hope is that I can get an IV injection of ketamine into her after that.
Okay.
And that will knock her all the way down.
We started out with Dr. Nick administering her very first intermuscular dose, also known as IM, into the muscle. Once the dose was given, we backed completely away and left Aurora entirely alone in her pen with Astro for 15 minutes to let the sedatives take hold without any stress or distraction. When we came back to check on her, we could see she was a little droopy, but Mustangs have an incredible ability to fight through heavy sedatives when their adrenaline kicks in. She was still way too awake to safely handle, so Dr. Nick administered a second dose, and once again we stepped back and waited another full 15 minutes to give her space. 15 minutes later, she was still very much awake and standing tall. At this point, Dr. Nick administered a third dose, which was the absolute maximum amount we could safely give her intermuscularly. Going into today, our whole goal from the start was to lay Aurora down so we could safely work on her feet. All of this pre-sedation into the muscle was just to get her calm enough so Dr. Nick could safely approach her neck. One fascinating thing Dr. Nick shared with me is that wild Mustangs usually take 2 to 3 times the standard horse dose for sedation, and Aurora far exceeded even that. Stay tuned for part 2 to see how Dr. Nick was able to successfully administer an IV straight into Aurora's neck, because even with 3 rounds of heavy sedation, this girl was fighting hard and not going to give in.